Swerve Strickland got his first national exposure as a wrestler on the critically acclaimed Lucha Underground television series. It was his friendship with Prince Puma, better known as Ricochet in the WWE, that led him to being signed.
So when I was in Lucha Underground, I was bringing in the talent, right?
Right.
One of the guys I had asked Ricochet, I go, do you know anybody that you want to recommend? And so one of the guys he recommended was Swerve. I saw his video, I talked to him, and then we brought him in. He was doing some military gimmick, I think.
It was here that he would play the character of Lieutenant Jermaine Strickland, a military vet who carries dog tags to honor the memories of his fallen comrades, and wrestled under a mask as Killshot.
When I got brought in, it was from Conan. Conan saw a match. I sent him a match of mine that I had with Mike Bailey from CZW years ago. Mm-hmm. He had brought me to a tryout in LA, and I did a bunch of scramble matches, as dark matches and stuff. And they were like, "Oh man, he can go. We like him." So they put me on the mask, put me in a tag in a trios with Big Rick and Willie Mack, and they were like, "Okay, you come up with the character. We'll make the mask all based off what you come up with." So me and a buddy of mine were just like, we came up with Killshot, so it was Deadshot and Deathstroke. It was really cool characters for Batman and all that stuff. So came up with that. They're like, okay, cool. I did the season. I had fun matches, but I didn't have like a character direction. So I had a talk with Conan by the ringside, and they were doing Ultima Lucha, which is like their WrestleMania Ultima Lucha for the season, and I wasn't on it. And he was like, "Hey man, you look a little down, bro." I was like, "Oh man, I just want to just do more. I want to contribute to the show." And he was like, "Hey, what you can do to get on shows like this, you gotta step out and like really bring it. Like there's some guys can jump the card because they do something exponentially cool. Some guys jump the card because they have that charisma. That's just, you can't deny it. So you got to put them on. You got to find your way." And I was like, challenge accepted. Season 2 came around. During that break, I wrote the whole backstory for the character and presented it to them. They loved it, and so they applied it. And I came up with all these. They came up with all these like video shoots and all these vignettes that I was going to shoot, like me in the desert shooting, killing terrorists and stuff. So that already set me aside from everybody. That I was an actual human person, a military person with skills, but I can be hurt. I wasn't a mythical creature character from a Mayan Aztecian background or heritage. I wasn't a luchador. I wore a mask, but I wasn't a luchador. So that put me in a lane as like a human being.
There was like, I'm like, this feels like a video game. We are true video game characters. The women were just as powerful as the men, they're not tag teams, there were trios. There was like murders that were happening off camera, like out of the ring. There was sacrifice, there was resurrections, there was time traveling going on. We had the most unique roster in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like men, women, teen, like mass luchadors, American, African American, Mexican, Australian, like you name it, like Canadian, like they were on fire. And that's like that competition made me who I am, made me have to step up and find who I was as Killshot. That's like everybody was such an Aztec luchador, or they had such finesse to them. Like I cannot springboard as good as freaking Aerostar. I can't, like, I wasn't as smooth as Ricochet or Pumas. Nobody is, I couldn't, I didn't have the look that John Morrison did. I didn't have like
the size of Cage,
the strength of Mill. Like I didn't have like the comedy that Willie Mack had, and then I also didn't have, like, I would say, like that moniker, the Pentazel, man, I didn't have that as Killshot.
Swerve would write 3 different backgrounds for what Killshot could be, and they ended up with a little bit of all of them and combined them together. So by the start of season 2, Killshot's backstory had more military elements added to it, and that was a natural fit for Swerve since he was raised in a military family. In fact, before Swerve took up wrestling, he had enlisted in the Army Reserve and was a signal support communications specialist for 8 years. As you know, this wasn't enough for Swerve. He decided that he also wanted to be a wrestler and started training when he was 18 years old and decided that he would eventually like to pursue the sport as his primary career. In an interview with ESPN.com, Swerve would say, "I always wanted to wrestle primarily, but I knew financially it was impossible, especially being a father of 2 little girls. It was good to have the military help supporting me for so long while helping me pursue my dream at the same time. I was very fortunate to have good leadership help me along the way." The video you're watching is just one part of a series of videos on this channel that I'm making, so make sure you check out all the other parts linked in the playlist at the end of the video, and subscribe so you get notified when new videos in the series are released.
Like, I can't compete with those guys at what they do, what they're the best at doing. I can't compete with that. So what can I offer that they can't? Well, militant. I actually was in the military. Okay. I'm actually a human, a real person. I'm not like a dragon or this or like a resurrected phoenix. I'm not any of those things. So I'm human. I can die. I can get hurt. But I'm also a lethal human I've actually killed people as the character. How do I, okay, so now start like, okay, now let's gather my tools. Let's like really start like, it's like, okay, it's like rationing. Like, okay, I'm out in the middle of the woods. I don't have a tent. I don't have the RV. I don't have that. What do I have to survive? And I really started just finding ways to like, okay, gather this. And then I was paired with Marty the Moth. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use his strengths. He's not an agile person, but God, is he entertaining, and like he has size. Like that's something I could use. And it was just using things that are around me and my resources. Like, everybody's so finesse. Let's just fight. Let's not do lucha. Everybody, we have the best luchadors. We can't out lucha the luchadors. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. But let's just fight. Let's just fight and like be brutal. And that's when the Weapons of Mass Destruction match happened. That's where I think that was the beginning of season 3, and that catapulted me into be like, okay, I'm on the radar now. And then my character created AR Fox, or Dante Fox, coming in. And now I was like, oh, that's my brother. We're going to go off because I know this man. And now we had a story along with the action, and we had trust. And then that took me to the end of season 3, and we just cemented ourselves with Hell of War because we were like, let's just fight. Let's just fight. And then that's what really made us stand out.
2 out of 3 falls, but it was like the first one was first blood match, which I wore a mask. He didn't. Oh, who's going to bleed? So we flipped it and made it me going through a pane of glass, and now I'm bleeding from the back. So everybody's expectation was like, oh, snap, I didn't see that coming. So, and that's what we loved about that match, was just like every expectation you thought was going to happen, we flipped it and did the opposite. And that made a better story. And throughout the season, we had matches and tag matches and stuff, but I always made sure Fox was bigger, stronger, and better than me, because I wanted him to be the Sabretooth to my Wolverine. Like, it's like, man, how do I beat this guy? And then I want people watching, how does he beat this guy? How does he do it? So a lot of us unselfishness went into doing matches like that and doing a story to build up to such a big, great match, because it's just like, I wanted to build, my opponent was my machine I'm building. I'm building him because I have to take him down, but I don't want it to be 50-50. No, it should be like, I have to go through hell to take you out because there's no other way. And I take a lot of movie scenes, just like the villain always falls off some long fall from some building at the end because the hero's like on his last dying breath and stuff. So I was like, what if we did the fall and you went through all this glass? He was like, okay. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this by yourself? I'll go with you and we can make it like a whatever. He's like, no, I'm the villain, bro. I got to do it. So did a fake glass thing, boom, hit him in the head. He takes the plummet, and the whole story was so poetic because I left him for dead in the military overseas, and we were at war. So, and the warrior ethos is no soldier left behind. So when he fell, he vanquished in the glass. I picked him up and put my soldier in the military evac because there's no soldier left behind.
Right.
So it's a military ethos that we all live by.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was really cool to see something all the way through like that, and them having the freedom to like, we're hands off. Y'all got 40 minutes. Just go. We're like, okay.
In Lucha Libre, the truly important matches, the bouts that make up one's official record, are not even world championships. They are rather the mass versus mass matches, where luchadors wager their mass on the outcome of a fight. When a wrestler is defeated and unmasked, his face is seen by the public for the first time. His name and his birthplace are published in the papers. His mask, which symbolized his honor, is retired and cannot be used again. At the end of the final season of Lucha Underground, Killshot would face Son of Havoc in a mask versus mask match, and would be unmasked.
I'm telling people on this channel to subscribe, and they won't.
Yes?
What can we do about that? Can you help me out? Maybe if you tell them to subscribe, they'll do it.
Threaten them. I'll threaten them for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it or you're cursed.
The director of The Switch just recently released a movie about 4 drag queens who end up defending a biker bar from a vampire attack. It's called Slay, and it sounds fucking awesome. And if this channel gets to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, 2024, I will review it in full on this channel.
He is I, and I am him, and I'm the undisputed trend Matt Taven. And this dork behind the camera, some Melvin told me to say, grave diggers keep on digging. Whatever that means.
I am AEW wrestler and Ring of Honor tag champ, Mike Bennett. And remember, grave diggers keep digging, but not the monster truck. Even though my son really likes that monster truck, I kind of like Son of a Digger, and so I'm going off on a tangent about monster trucks because my son really loves monster truck, but we're talking about the YouTube channel, so make sure, grave diggers, keep on digging, baby.
So this is Mark doing one half private party, saying what up to the grave diggers, and you doing your thing, bro.
Alright, like, subscribe, and watch another video, or be cursed. If you're cursed, that means the grave diggers will keep digging your graves. So, you probably want to do it.